Hey, what's up guys, it's SPSnake here, bringing you guys another Advanced Warfare video here today. Today we are going to talk about the new Ascendance DLC that launched for the Xbox 360, Xbox One, and a month later we will be seeing it on the PlayStation and PC. So we're going to talk about my opinions, thoughts, what I think about every individual DLC map, and as well as a whole. Do I think it's worth buying? Do I not? How does it pair up with the previous DLC? Is it better? Is it worse? We're going to talk about all that stuff in this video. So first of all, let's go over what the Ascendance DLC map pack number 2 brings, which includes 4 brand new maps: Perplex, Site 244, Climate, Chop Shop, and we also get a brand new zombies revisiting Burger Town again, which is pretty cool. I haven't played it, haven't tried it out. They also bring brand new zombies along with the new zombie map, and we also get to use the OHM. If you guys have had the season pass, you were able to use the OHM already, which is pretty cool. But if you guys are purchasing individual DLC packs, then you are now able to use it as well. For people that have used the weapon, we have new variants in Advanced Warfare now for the OHM, so you guys can go ahead, go out there, hunt them down, and hopefully you guys get an awesome elite variant for this weapon. As well, we got a new playlist, which is the grapple mode. It's a pretty cool playlist. I am featuring some gameplay and some of these clips that you guys are going to be seeing in the background. Pretty cool, doesn't really change much. I talked a little bit about it in my last video. You guys can go check it out, as well as to give you guys a nice little spawn trap that you guys can use on the map Perplex. I thought it's pretty awesome, something that can help you guys out. So if you guys are interested, I'll make sure to leave a notation on screen, also link down in the description below. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about each individual map. So I guess we'll start from my favorite one, which is Perplex. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's my all-time favorite, but out of these 4, Perplex definitely is up there. The thing I like about this map in specific is, one, I learned this nice little spawn trap that I mentioned before, and as well as it's one of the smaller maps, which makes the gameplay really fast paced. There are a lot of buildings that you have to climb up on top with the grappling mode. I think this one works a little bit better with that one, just because you can get all the way on top of the buildings real quickly rather than having to keep on jumping up through each and every level. So that's a cool thing about Perplex. And the main reason, like I mentioned, it's a very small map, very hectic. You're always going to encounter enemies, and it's very easy to spawn trap them. As well, domination is probably one of my favorite game types for this, and as well as uplink, which is pretty funny because in uplink it's not as casual as the other maps. This one's a little bit different. The goal area is really high up, so you really have to make use of every level and be able to actually dunk it. You have to most likely be at least on one of the highest levels within the buildings. If you're not, you're probably going to have to throw it up there, because you can't be on the bottom floor and expect to actually score. You have to be on top of the buildings, which makes it a little bit crazier. I see people trying to get it and they happen to miss it by an inch and they fall all the way down and have to get it all the way back up. So I thought that was pretty cool in a sense. But moving on to the next one, which is my second favorite, that is Climate. Climate reminds me a little bit of Mirage, but a little better of a version of Mirage. The reason for it, it's a circular map. It's not very complicated to understand. There's a center. Everybody likes to go there, especially if it's domination. You're going to see a lot of people just pretty much sitting in the building within the middle section of the map. And also, if you guys didn't know, there's also a middle underground like passage underneath that base, which is pretty cool. You can only access it in the beginning of the game, because later on you have the whole map event and it makes the water turn into like this green acidy type water, and you can't go in there because if you stay there for too long you actually die. But if it's not activated, you can go on under there. Not many people know about it. There are a few people that actually go down there and pretty much just camp, but they really don't do much. It's not like a horrible place. I like to use it to kind of like flank around to the enemy side, so it can be something very useful to you guys. And that's pretty much it for this map. Like I mentioned, circular, fast pace. The only one little problem I have with this map is the shape that is a circle. Sometimes in certain game types you feel like you're just going around in circles, But in domination, I think it works a little bit better just because of that B flag. Like I mentioned, people like to swarm around the middle area, which makes it a little bit more fun. You don't go around in circles and stuff like that like you would in Mirage back in Black Ops 2. So now moving on to my third, I was gonna say fourth, no, third favorite map, Chop Shop. Now this one is probably one of the more classic, you can say, Call of Duty maps. It's very symmetrical. There's really not many things that you can really say about this. It's pretty straightforward. That's one of the things I like about this map. It just feels like one of the older maps just put it into Advanced Warfare. The B flag, perfect location in my opinion. It's really hard to capture, but at the same time it may be easy to capture. It just, making a symmetrical map makes, I don't know, it just kind of clicks with me, maybe because I've been playing Call of Duty for a while now, and Chop Shop is definitely a pretty good map, but not as great as previous two that I mentioned already. Now moving on to the next one and final DLC map, which is Site 244. This one is probably my least favorite. Why? Because I feel like this map could have been a little bit better theme wise. They try to make something cool with the whole alien and spaceship crash site. They could have made it a little bit more alien-ish in my opinion. It kind of looks a little bit too plain for me, but apart from that, just how it plays, it's a little bit too big for my liking. Also, many people like to go inside the middle area, and I really hate the middle area. Like, you just get shot from everywhere, and if you try to stay on the sides, it becomes a little bit too big. You're basically just roaming around trying to look for people. At least I haven't get the full grasp of this map. It's just a tiny bit big for me and a tiny bit too open for me. But that's pretty much it. It's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys like out of these four maps. You can put them in order from favorite to least favorite. Let me know that in the comment section below. But moving on to the zombies, I haven't been able to play the zombies. I haven't even played the previous zombie maps, which some of you guys, you know, have asked me to play, which I will try to play both of the zombie maps in the near future. But I can't really say much about it. I know there's new zombies included in this DLC pack, which they look pretty badass. There's a zombie with the rice shield. He looks pretty sick. And like I said, I haven't played the zombie map, so I can't really say much about it, so I'm going to keep it at that. When I do play it, I will share my opinions with you guys. But moving on to something a little bit different, the OHM weapon. How good is it? I haven't spoken about it on my channel. I have had it for a while now. I don't really like it just because of my playstyle. I haven't really found the proper setup that will work for me. And also, I'm kind of lazy to unlock all the attachments because towards the beginning, it's a little bit harder than when you unlock these three specific attachments, which I'm going to mention. I feel like the quick draw is going to be an essential attachment that you are going to want to unlock as soon as possible. Stock, never play without when I'm using my assault rifles, when I'm using my LMGs. I like to be as mobile as possible, and I feel like with this weapon, the red dot sight may be the third attachment that I will enjoy, just because the iron sights, even though they're not that bad, but with the laser weapons, there's a lot of flashes going on. This one kind of like hops around a little bit everywhere, so it just I kind of lose track sometimes of my opponents and I end up dying. But it is a very strong weapon. The shotgun, it's ridiculous. It does have a huge spread, but it doesn't really matter because you could spam that crap like crazy, and it reaches really far from what I've noticed, and it takes you out really quickly. So overall, pretty great weapon. It really depends on your personal preference and what your playstyle is, but I can't bash on the weapon and say it's the all-time worst weapon in Advanced Warfare. So moving on to how does it compare to the old DLC. Now, I definitely like the old DLC better than this one, so if you guys are just planning to purchase an individual DLC, I'll say purchase DLC map pack number 1. I enjoyed it a lot more. The maps are a lot better in my personal opinion. The DLC weapon is more enjoyable to me, specifically just because it fit my playstyle a little bit better. I enjoy the assault rifles more than I do the LMGs. But that's just personal preference. Some of you guys may, you know, I can see why some of you guys may enjoy the OHM just because of how powerful it is. But that's just my personal preference. Is it worth buying though? Let's say you already have the old DLC pack. Is this one worth purchasing? Now, if you guys are still into Advanced Warfare and still play continuously, then I say go for it, purchase it. The maps aren't the greatest, but they are playable. They're still very enjoyable. The grapple mode is something tiny bit unique. It doesn't change much about how Advanced Warfare plays, but it's pretty cool to just swing around and as well kill people with it. I think that's probably the best part out of that mode. As well, if you guys didn't know, it seems like in grapple mode there's a lot more people playing it than if you're playing like TDM or Mosh Pit, just because it's on the first slot on the playlist. More people just gravitate to the first thing that they see, and there's more variety. There's newbier players and there's more skilled players as well. It's just a nice variety. But just to end this video off, like I mentioned before, my overall thoughts on this map pack is that you're not really missing much, but if you guys still enjoy Advanced Warfare and just want to play new maps, then go for it. This is a decent DLC map pack that you guys can purchase just so you can get a little bit more variety in your Advanced Warfare experience. But, and also, if you guys love zombies, then this might be what you want to buy this DLC map pack for, because the new zombies makes it a little bit interesting. And also, since we don't really have many zombie maps in this game, having an extra one, because you guys are probably bored of the old one, would be something nice and fresh so you guys can play with your friends. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful, useful, whatever the case is. If you guys did and could drop a like, that'd be highly appreciated. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care, guys. Peace.